Hey, what's up there, YouTube? How you doing? I wanted to hop on here. I feel like a new man. I don't know whether it's from changing my diet recently or what. I'm just feeling a lot better. And it seems like my memory's coming back. That I had an accident a year ago, and I don't know if it's connected to why I feel like I can think clearer, or if it was the food I was eating, or a combination of the two. But anyway, I wanted to come on here and do a live stream talking about all the crazy shit going on right now. The stuff with Venezuela, which is soon to start over, and Colombia and all the other Cuba. It's gonna spread. I was talking about this earlier on a regular video about how when I was growing up, there was something called the domino theory, and it's exactly what's going on now. That was the communists doing the domino theory, knocking one right after the other, Cambodia, Laos, Vietnam, Korea, all these different things, one after the other. The communists were going to just keep taking pieces of land. During World War II, they did something similar. That was the Japanese were island hopping. They started grabbing up different things. Well, here we are again. Now we're doing it again. We're going to start seeing the big fight over whatever resources are out there. And they're going to start swallowing up countries, just like World War II with Japan doing island hopping, just like the domino theory where the communists were coming into Southeast Asia and going after Cambodia and getting one right after the other, causing everything to collapse. It's happening again, except for, strangely enough, we're the ones doing the domino theory, in my opinion. Anyway, I'm going to hang on here for a few minutes and wait for some people to come on there. There's nobody up there. I thought I saw somebody, but I'm not going to sit here and talk to dead air. Now, if YouTube is decent enough to put out some notification, that would be great. So why don't you do that, YouTube? How about it? Do me a solid, huh? Let's see what's going on here. Just want to see if they sent one out even. See if I get one on my other channel. Not yet. Come on, YouTube, give me a break here. You're going to put out some notifications? That's not it. It's Paul Begley. Looks like I'm about 3 minutes in. You know what? Let me grab me some glasses so I can see what the hell I'm looking at. What the hell are they doing? I thought I had them right here. What the fuck? Are they up here? Got them. Thank God. This way I can see what I'm looking at. One thing I have noticed is my vision's gotten a little bit better in the last couple weeks. I'd been making videos about how damn dark it is and how our tax money should be going to putting street lights back up. I don't know if you saw any of them. I did 2 or 3 of them. And can I see that? Yeah, a little bit better. These aren't the right ones, but they'll work. So, I'm wondering why, why should I wonder? I'll tell you why our tax money isn't out there in street lights, because they don't want it to be. They're misappropriating funds everywhere. It's fraud across the board. And yet Trump brought in DOJ, or not the DOJ, was it Doge? And they were going to clean house. Well, they cleaned some of it. But why is there so much fraud still there? Why is there so much, there's certain things on the other side. It's not even getting looked at. And one of the things is where's the tax money going to fix the lights? The fucking streets in Delaware are fucking shit as far as I'm concerned. Especially if you drive through like a Democrat neighborhood, and that's where a lot of the problem lies. But anyway, I'm going way off my topic. I wanted to talk about the shit going on in Venezuela and just communism that's coming in a big way across the board. But Now we're doing the same thing the communists were doing with you watch. Mark my words. They're going to take down Khomeini. They're going to take down nation building, whatever you call it. They're going to take down Kim Jong Un, and these are all things that George Bush's crew were talking about. It what's that 25 years ago, whatever it was, when we went against Iraq, and here we are. We're Trump's probably going to end up doing a very similar thing because you know what? At the end of the day, that's what the Rothschilds wants. Trump is nothing. Don't you understand that? Trump has no fucking power. The power is these money motherfuckers that are fucking puppetizing all our politicians. That's what I believe. And maybe I'm crazy, but I don't think so. I think money talks and bullshit walks. And we need to get money the fuck out of it. And it's going to take people getting involved. Voting and paying attention. And voting's pretty much a dead thing anyway because we haven't even gotten the damn machines the hell out. Why are we still worrying about Dominion machines or messing with that shit? What happened to paper ballots? It was good enough for George Washington's time. They used vellum though. It was sheepskin, whatever. But the point being, you couldn't fucking just get rid of that the way they got rid of our votes. It's just bullshit. It's absolute bullshit. And it's the same thing with the digital money and everything. We're just sitting back and kicking back and watching it happen. And they're rolling it out on a slow motion right now. It's going to start picking up speed. Watch. Bet me on that. Prove me wrong. I'm telling you, within the next couple months, you're not even going to recognize America, in my opinion. I think we're getting ready to circle the bowl for the last time pretty soon because it's not. Wait a minute. Sorry. It's not going to be the same country. But anyway, here I got off the subject. What I wanted to start talking about, I'm going back to right here and now, is that Venezuela and Cuba, Colombia, all of South America are being rounded up in one big monopoly board. We're going to take that, and Russia's going to go over and get the Ukraine and all this. It's like we're playing Risk or whatever, one of those games. And then China's going for Hong Kong or Taiwan. Watch. And this is leading up to the Battle of Armageddon eventually, because they're swallowing up everything because they know it's a done deal. Everything's getting ready to crash and burn. And that's the system going down, crashing and burning. And out of the ashes is going to rise the phoenix because these people are all into that mythology shit. And the phoenix is basically Babylon 2, coming up out of the ashes. And they're going to build back better, according to Joe Biden, BBB 666. And I think that's what we're heading for. Slow, but we're getting there faster and faster. We're picking up speed as we go downhill. Now, I honestly believe that Trump is now, unfortunately, not about the people if he ever was. We're being played, basically. And I'm just being real. Think for a minute. How did he change so drastically? Thanks for the thumbs up, whoever that was. How did he change and go against a lot of the things that he started off? He was going to be the peace president. Now we're getting into all these wars all of a sudden. You want to know how? Because Rothschild said it was going to be that way. And he had to listen. He has to jump through the hoops for them. You see? Trump isn't richer than them. They got more money and they got more power. All this, was it the 13 families that rule the world? That's true. I don't give a shit what anybody says. Someone's pulling the strings way above our pay grade to be able to, we don't even know who it is, names and stuff, practically. They're hidden pretty good. And they're calling the shots. I don't believe for a minute that Trump's doing the things he's doing with his own, wanting to do it. I think he's stuck in a system he can't get out of. He's trying maybe to work from within to do something, but I don't put no faith in him or the government right now or any government. We're done the world is going down in flames, and up out of that is what's going to be in their mind, the beast system. Why do you think Trump spent, what was it, $150 billion? Who's that? Somebody's on there. Hey, how you doing? Is that Mick? Little bit of pure gold. Hey, how you been? Someone asked Trump what his New Year's resolution was. He said world peace. 3 days later, sinks boats and kills the ones overboard. Yeah, exactly. You know, things are just, we're being lied to again. And the problem is we're seeing more and more of the picture. They're not even trying to hide it anymore. Both sides are against us. And when I say us, I'm talking about the little guys. People that are eating, sleeping, and breathing and doing nothing else, just trying to survive while these billionaires are collecting treasures that is basically out of our stuff, you know, taxing the shit out of humanity every which way they can. It reminds me of fiefdoms or kingdoms back when, you know, the fucking, what do you call them, the serfs were down there, and the rich people were robbing them blind and bringing it into the castle, because that's what they're doing. They're taking everything we got and they're bringing it for themselves in Mount Cheyenne or wherever they're hiding. When the shit hits the fan, they're going to have, you know, all the generators that should be out here when the power goes down. They got them for their fucking ass. They ain't doing nothing for us. What's that say there? The House impeached him the other day, but I still don't think there is enough in Congress to get out done. You know what? Doesn't matter. Doesn't fucking matter. The House is crooked too. The whole fucking system needs to go. I'm to the point where I'm not even putting no faith in any of these lawmakers. Look at the fucking insurance industry. Look at the way they tax the shit out of people. Look at the way it's all about helping the big machine, and we the people's not even in the sentence anymore. We're fucking wiped off the fucking board, and that's crazy. This was a government for the people, by the people. Not anymore. Evidently not anymore. We're getting screwed continuously. You know, that's the way I feel about that. What's that say? All right. The whole world is corrupt. You're right. It's ran by the devil. Yep. And the citizens have lost control. Yep. We're collateral damage, or we're hostages in a spiritual war, basically. And here's the deal. The only thing we can do is keep fighting our own little individual battles within our own lives and deprive the fucking devil of our soul. In other words, don't take the fucking mark. Don't even play the game. Don't, you know, when they start fucking changing shit, go the opposite direction, because they're trying to do everything to walk us away from the path that's going to lead us to God. Every time they do that, I can't even explain what I'm saying, but I think you can, you know, you know what I'm saying, probably. What's it say? The whole world. Oh, you already had that up there. All right. These glasses help, but still kind of blurry. Anyway, I forgot my point. Oh, yeah. Let me get back to Venezuela. So to catch Maduro, right? What's that? Imagine if our founding fathers saw us paying property income taxes, sales tax, they would roll over. You're right. We need another Boston Tea Party. Throw the fucking IRS in the river this time, not the tea. You know, it's ridiculous. You know, but anyway, what's happening around the world? It's same thing's always happened. And I was saying on one of my videos earlier about the domino theory. I literally grew up listening to about that in school, how the communists were going in and subverting the people, pulling them away from their traditional, you know, family units and everything else, and breaking down their religions and all that shit and trying to get rid of it, and then taking over the country. You know, it started in, like, what was it? Vietnam, Cambodia, Laos, Cuba, all across the board, and they're doing it again, except for this time, we're doing it. So the roles are reversed, But watch, we're going to start doing that same thing, and it's crazy. It's crazy. Wait a minute. No taxation without exactly representing. It's definitely. Wait a minute. It's definitely not represented. Yeah, we're not. We are totally ignored. Everything is for the elite, and somehow the people in Congress don't get pinched by these laws they're passing, or they would start thinking twice. But everybody else is getting beat down. I say burn the fucking shit down and rebuild it, but in a more honest way. I don't know. Start having shorter terms. Same with like for instance, Nancy Pelosi. She's been in there stealing. I think she actually finally might have retired. I thought I heard she's on her way out finally. And term limits have to be happen. And they got a clean house. That's what Trump was talking about. How we're going to make America great, and then he's kind of split off from that, and he's going his own route. It's not even his route. The Rothschilds or somebody making him take over the reins to what Biden started. And it's about money and power. So Trump's got to play along. That's my opinion. The fact that women, they have convinced most Christians to the blasphemous Judeo-Christian dogma, we are truly lost. Well, only if we follow, the Pied Piper off that cliff. One by one, we all got to fucking start getting more and more back to God. That's the key. Because communists hate God. And that's what this whole thing still reminded me of, a communist takeover. Let me get this light back on here. I can't see it. There it goes. Had to turn my car on. I think that's most of the problem right there. Comes to a lack of God in our societies. We are gods in our own minds. That's what they're trying to convince us, that we don't need God. Well, that's a fraudulent statement on their part. I mean, if you're trying to sell that, then you're nothing but a liar, because we can't do anything without God. We can build this fraudulent, this planet here and do what we want, but God's got the whole world in his hands, so to speak, not to sound cliche or whatever, but these people are just, wait a minute, what's that say? Mark 14:24, and he said, using them, this is my blood of the New Testament, which is shed for many. Yep. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah. We're leaning towards Judeo Christian, but you know what? The Jews didn't see the Messiah the first time around. Are they going to see him if he comes again? I don't know. I'm not knocking him. I'm not. What's this just say? The fact that I already read that one. Anyway, let me take this off for a minute. It's hurting my nose. The thing's too small and it's clipped onto my nose. It's like dollar store reading glasses. Yeah, I just think that's where, communism thrives in a godless society. And that's what we've become. And that's where we're going. Except for they're going to call it something different. It's still, it's capitalism, but it's corrupt and it's evil. And like I was saying a minute ago, why is there still that we had the Doge? There's still a ton and a half of fucking shit that isn't taken care of or even addressed. What, not only did they not see him, the rabbis of the time crucified. Yeah, you're right. But guess what? Israel, Jews are still God's chosen people. Now, whether they want to acknowledge Jesus or not, that's the key. That might be what they need is do it on an individual level, because we can't change people's minds too much nowadays anyway to get to. I mean, once you become an influencer, they fucking silence you. Once you start making a dent in a bullshit scam out there of anything in the world, and they don't like it, they'll shut you down. If you talk about the government, they're going to find a way to shut you up. It's the same thing with, talking about God. They'll just shut you up. What's this? Not only did they not see him, the rabbi, I already read that, okay. Wait a minute. No, Israel is anyone who accepts the blood of Jesus. He said we are all new Israel. You know what? You're right about that. I never looked at it like that. We are, yeah, but here's the deal. I'm not going to throw every person who's Jewish under the bus. And really, you shouldn't do that with anybody, any Christian, any Muslim, because you know what? You don't have the fucking right to, because that's God. God is the judge and final juror and say so of everybody. We all have to stand in front of him. And so, in other words, get your own house in order first and foremost. That's what I believe. Now, you can believe what you want, but I don't think that everybody over in the Middle East is terrorist. I don't believe everybody in Israel is, an antichrist or whatever. But there's a lot of them because we're infiltrated. And there's a lot in our fucking government that's infiltrated that aren't patriots, or even in a lot of cases, American citizens, because now we got to take it back to a lot of them are actually dual citizenship, and some are aligned with Israel. They're a second thing. Why is that even allowed? You're either one or the other. And on that situation, how can you be loyal to two masters? I believe that he even says that in the Bible. Live it. Jesus was, what's that? Jesus was clear. He was there to fulfill the old covenant and bring in a new one. Right. Yep. But again, I still believe it's up to every person to get their own self in line with what's it say? Jesus answered, I am the way, the truth, and the life. Yep. No one comes in. Yeah, exactly. And every damn day you can turn, go out the door or turn on the TV or listen to the radio, and someone trying to sell you a different God. I don't know if these are doing better or making it worse. Take them off. It's about the damn same, man. It's a little bit better. And the fact that I got the light right here on this one, and then I got someone's coming into the parking lot. I'm sitting in a parking lot, and their car lights were coming through over here. They're gone. They're over there. Fuck it. Jesus answered, I am the... Oh, yeah, I read that. Yep. And it's just that I basically see a constant repeat of what's going on and what's been going on, and they're trying to package it as something new. This is, like I said, it just flipped. It's two sides of the same coin, or right wing, left wing, same dirty bird. They're all playing for not our team. They're playing for the money people, basically Satan. The ones that are making our policies and our rules and our laws are corrupt, and they're frickin' sons of, what do they call them? Sons of perdition. What's this? The Jewish religion does not accept Jesus. So therefore they are on the path at any point, anyone can accept the gift and be saved. Exactly. However, some Jews have already been saved. There's some that are already believing in Jesus. That's all I'm saying. That, now. Does that say now or not? Looks like not. Not be. Oh, not be saved. I guess that's what you meant. Right. I'm just saying that it all begins and ends with our educational system, how they took God out of that. We used to have in God, we trust in everything, like our money and shit. Some of that's coming off there, and they're getting rid of the currency anyway. Now it's going to be electronic money, but just everything. You can't even, this bothers me. We're supposed to have the freedom of speech, right? And yet, if you go in front of an abortion clinic, I don't know yet if it happened here. I know it happened in Germany. I think it happened in England. They got arrested. One guy was praying silently, and the cops came over and were wondering what he was doing there. I guess they thought he was going to do something to the abortion clinic. And he said, look, I'm just praying for the souls that are being extinguished, the little babies that are being killed. And they grabbed them up and took them away, and they locked them down or locked them up. Here's the deal. Praying must really piss the devil off there, because what harm would it be if you're praying in your head? And yet, meanwhile, they're allowing up in New York for the Muslim prayer 5 times a day, their prayer time, over a loudspeaker. It goes 4, 5, 6 blocks. You can hear it. Is that fair that they can do that, but you can't even pray silently in your head? That's what we're heading towards. You see, nobody's seen a big picture. I mean, people are, but not enough people to stop this shit. You got to turn it around. Family values are gone. Like parents, what it says it in the Bible, how they'll wax cold for one another. In other words, they're not going to feel no love towards their family, and they're looking at monetary gains and this and that and materialism, and they don't give a shit about their spiritual salvation. They're too busy chasing dollar bills to save their soul. What's this say? All you can do is keep good and keep God and Jesus in your home. Pray for everyone else. Yeah. And be watchful. True. Yep. That's what we got to do. Be watchful. Be awake and looking. And I said that in a whole other way about something different that kind of aligns with this. I said people can't. I was talking about pharmaceutical companies now, still trying to what do you call that? Gaslight us and many other problems like that. Yet people just don't. They're not awake enough to catch on. They're playing a different type of game, but same game. It's going to lead down to another pandemic eventually, and the thing in your arm. So what I'm saying is, don't fall asleep. You just said the key word: watch. Keep awake. Watchmen on the wall, because they're trying to fool us and put us to sleep so many different ways. It's not funny. Just everything in society anymore, it seems corrupt to me. I can't even express how disgusted I've been at just politics and everything else. I know I'm sitting here talking about this shit, but everything's so corrupt, it's not even funny. And it's literally just dragging pulling the energy out of me to even talk about it sometimes. But if you don't talk about it, it's like nobody talked and spoke up when Hitler rose to power. So he just had a free road to go do what he was going to do. Nobody got in his way. Nobody slowed him down or stopped him. The guards that were in Alcatraz, or not Alcatraz, I'm sorry, Auschwitz, when they got caught up with later after the war, we're only doing our job. That's the same mentality people have today. They don't have any, what's the word I'm looking for? Geez, I can't think of it. There's no moral nothing. Hang on 1 minute. Let me. Okay. Sometimes it helps to vent about things no one. Exactly. That's what I do. Because literally, if I don't say something and I sit here and do nothing and you don't grumble or bitch or whatever the hell you want to call it, or at least just speak out to bring it to other people's attention, which maybe other people see it too, but they don't know how to vent or they just don't know what to do about it. But I feel I got to do something sometimes or say something because I don't want to be one of them people just sitting here as the world burns down around us when we could at least opened our mouth and tried to change our fate. Integrity. Yeah, I guess. What's this? Sometimes it helps us to, yeah. Yeah, because you know what? And people have lost that through integrity and honesty and being true to oneself and just trying to be a good person in general. We're too busy most of the time just trying to keep up with everybody else. So it reminds me of what I call the Facebook syndrome, where people are, all that Facebook is doing is people are like, check this out. How do you like my house? How do you like my car? And it's all about me, I, and, what you got. And that makes you who you are and you're special. And no, what makes you who you are is when you got nothing and you're still trying to help someone. You're giving time if you don't have money to help somebody, to lift somebody up. Out of their problem. What's this? Oh, I almost forgot. Some street preachers got arrested in Dallas on a public sidewalk. Did that just happen? I thought I heard something about that. Yeah, we have the freedom of speech. Why are people? Where's the ACLU? Why didn't they get up and start? They don't give a shit because ACLU never defends, the baby's right in the abortion thing. I don't see them defending that. Still a human being. If you killed the baby inside the womb, that's murder. Even like if you're in a car accident, I believe they charge you, and you hit somebody, you can get charged with vehicular homicide if the baby dies. I might be wrong on that. At least in some states, I believe that's correct. So it's admitting that it's a human life there. What's this? UK and Canada are already arresting people preaching. Yep, and they did it. There was a guy. What was his name? Let me see if I can remember him. He was, what the hell was his name? He was up in Canada. He was a Polish guy. I almost remembered it. They were arresting him. He kept opening the church up during COVID, and they arrested him. He opened it up Easter Sunday, and he was willing to try to, we'll wear a mask and stand this many feet apart, and they were still coming and arresting him. They did it on Easter Sunday to screw with him. They were already warning him, but it's an attack on Christianity. All this is all that stuff is a smoke screen, to shut down the communists. In their manifesto, they're trying to break family unit. They're trying to get rid of God and everything. I mean, what's it? It's coming here. Yeah, it's already here. It just hasn't gotten full blown yet, in my opinion. Yeah, it's unbelievable. I was reading a book. I just started to read it. I just got it, had it for a little while, but I'm just starting to get into reading it now. It's called Tortured for Christ. I think I have it in the car. Maybe I don't. It's a paperback. One day I'll bring it on here. It's called Tortured for Christ, Project 2025. Yeah. I mean, they changed the name, but what was Project 2025 was probably Agenda 21 or was it 2030? They're changing the name so you don't know that they're still handing you the same plate of shit. Say, it's something new. It's a new name. It's better now. It's the same shit. It's Build Back Better beast system. That's where we're heading, in my opinion. And there's a lot of other people that probably believe that, I would think, because we are heading closer and closer to digital money, digital slavery. And once they get that, we're done. We're. Why do you think they call it blockchain too? Because you feel like you're walking around chained to a fucking cinder block. You're going nowhere without their say so. And what's with the 15-minute cities? They want to have us. They're just prison cells. Don't you get it? It's not your home. If they get them things rolling, which you're already starting to figure out how to do that, they'll put the homeless in there first. Well, see, we'll hook them up. Mysteriously, a lot of them will start dying. And as time goes on, they'll have almost everybody in there because you can't pay your rent because rents are through the roof. You'll lose your ability to pay your car insurance and the rent. So one's got to go. And then you try to go live in your car because, you can't afford the other one. Well, now that's illegal. He signed that. Trump signed a freaking, what do you call that? Executive order. I don't know if it's in every state. I assume it is, but they're not enforcing it. But what the fuck is that? If you're buying a car, you're paying 10 grand for the fucking thing, you should be able to cut a fucking hole in the fucking seat and turn it into a public toilet if you fucking want. It's your fucking car. Your money went into it. You should light that thing on fire and roll it off a bridge. It should be, it's your money. Where the fuck does somebody tell you can't, do that? What's it say? They are a bit different, and they are on time. They accomplished Agenda 21. Yeah, but they're not different. They're leading to the same fucking path of destruction. Different? Yeah, you're right. But I guarantee you, it's all taking us down that two different angles going to the same spot. That's the whole thing. Right side, left side. So now Biden was going one way. Now Trump's going another, but they're going to, don't worry. The fucking elites, the rich, are going to get us to the same point that they wanted Biden to take this country to. But he was incapable of doing it, I guess. In my opinion. Who's that? Hey, what's up, Doc? How you doing? What's it say? They are all a bit different. Yeah, I read that. They're doing 25 now, and 2030 is next. You know what? Fuck them. I didn't even want to acknowledge that shit. And any of that fucking bullshit. That's their game plan. And we can't play by their rules because their rules are to cheat against us. If we're in a game, they're already cheating. We don't have stand a chance to fucking do anything to fix the situation. Yo, what's up, Fred? How you doing? How you guys doing? Thanks for stopping by. Bummed vacation is over. What else we got there? Yeah, the corn's still growing out there, Fred. Good deal. It's not modified corn, is it? You ain't selling any of that bioengineered corn, hopefully. Just running us like cattle through the chute. You're right. And it's ironic when you think about it. They call us chattel. You ever hear that expression? They vaccinate us. They want to vaccinate. They vaccinate you right when you crawl out of the womb, come out of your mother's womb. They're ready to hit you up with 20 some odd vaccines or whatever, which you have to wonder how much is that's tied to autism. They're saying it is. Why do you? What God gave us an immune system. Before all those vaccines, people were born. Now, yeah, there was a lot of crib death and people dying, little babies dying and shit. But some of it, what's that? Some of it now could be, well, first off, we were probably living it a lot rougher anyway. Living in, back in medieval times, and they were dying at 25 or something. That was like 30 was probably old age, But what I'm saying is, when a baby comes out, God gives you an immune system mostly, and whatever He gave you, you got to build it up anyway. So you're better off almost going out and letting your kid, play around in the dirt. Maybe he's eating a little bit. Maybe somebody coughs on him here and there. Eventually, that's gonna you build your immune system. They want to brush that off there and say God's not qualified enough to give you an immune system. So Bill Gates has got something. Don't worry. We're going to hit you up with something good so you'll be okay. Now, I was okay with God's plan, you know? These people are fucked up. I don't know. Maybe what's it say? So, Fred, how you doing, dude? Thanks for stopping by there. Same with you, Doc. Herd immunity. That's the word I was looking for a minute ago. We have running water and toilet. Exactly. Chicken isn't on my mind. What's that say? Cholera. Sorry, they say, well, while we're at the chicken, I thought you said chicken. Yeah, we also didn't worry about chicken flu or bird flu. Sorry, because we were too busy living our lives. You know, they trying to put stress on you about a flu. You know, it's going to happen one way or another anyway. You'd build up your immune system. I think I actually may have had bird flu 2 years ago. I had some kind of wicked ass flu, right? And I was coughing so hard, my eyes were like just bloodshot. That was one of the things. I had some of the other symptoms, and I got better from it. I can't guarantee it was that, but I wonder typhoid either. You're right. Yeah. Yep. I mean, that you didn't realize that more people died of disease during the Civil War than actual bullets, like 3 times as many, because they didn't know to go elsewhere. They would go upstream, you know, to be dumping their latrines up in the river up there, and downstream, just another troops are down there drinking the water, you know, we'll end up with cholera and everything else. And what's this say? Typhoid, yep. And then they also had the worst fucking food you could imagine when you're out on the Civil War battlefield. The best thing you got in your pack's probably hardtack, which almost breaks your teeth, but at least it doesn't have like the meat and stuff was half the time it was rancid as shit. And they, you know, salted pork or whatever they had, it was still pretty damn rancid. So yeah, there was a lot worse things back in the day. And I don't know how I got onto that. I was just, about vaccines and about, you know, how when a baby comes out, that to me, that's insulting in a way to God. It's a slap in God's face that we totally ignore that there is herd immunity and stuff like that. God prepared everything for us. Now, guess what? If somebody died, you know, maybe it was God's will for a reason. Maybe, who knows why? I'm not even going to question that. I'm just saying in general, you still try to, you know, do what you can do. But when everything comes from a pharmaceutical company and there's no more room for, you know, faith to heal, or no more room for, you know, common sense and wisdom on your part, you know, and praying to God, it's just crazy to me. I don't know if I'm making myself understood. Everything's fucked up. We've walked away from God and then wonder why the world's in the shit hole, why we're going down the drain. You know, in your basic everyday life, people don't even hardly talk about God as much as they did back in the day. What's this? I saw wait a minute. I mean, these glasses ain't the right ones. I had a better pair the other day. These are Dollar Tree. I'll try it again. I saw a recruiting poster from the Civil War promising roast beef and ice cream for troops on Sunday. Yeah, you don't want to eat either one of them, man, you know? But they promise them pie in the sky. And that's where they'll be eating it when they go to heaven. They get shot through the fucking gut. Yeah, once your gut's shot, you ain't going to be enjoying any roast beef or ice cream. I can convince you of that pretty easily. Yeah, the nastiest wounds of any war was probably Civil War. Was pretty bad because, first off, when you got hit with musket fire, or even the rifles back there, but musket was worse because it moved slower, meaning, you know, a rifle, the bullet went through you and could sometimes cauterize the wound. A musket ball goes in there and it's dragging in the dirt from the uniform, the dirt that might have been on your fingers when you loaded the musket ball. All that shit ends up, and that's where the infection got set in. Up in Gettysburg, I was talking to a guy up there who had a property where there was a field hospital. He said they literally were cutting arms off and legs off and just tossing them out the window. The doctors, as the men coming off the battlefield, and it just stunk after a while. And it's the same thing with after the battle. For 2 or 3 days, it got really hot and it rained, so you had one hell of a stink. And they actually paid. It was 3 black guys, I believe, slaves or ex-slaves, that were paid some money to try to get rid of as much of that. And I think they had other soldiers come along and help them. But the stink was just making it impossible to live in the town almost, which is they promised citizenships to a lot of Irish recruits. Well, yeah, exactly. And, the funny thing is people don't realize when slavery was here and the blacks were in slavery, a lot of Irish were almost enslaved in a sense too, because it was something called, and I guess some English came over. It was called it being an indentured servant. Indentured servant. I said that right? Yep. And basically they had to work for whoever owned their papers to get them over from the old country and pay off their debt to them or something. Then they were free to go about and do their thing and become a citizen. You can be in that for 7 or 8 years or something. What's this say? No, I already read that. Anyway, it's fucked up because I think we're slowly, not even slowly, we're heading right back into stuff that's going to lead to that. For instance, we're going to be about Civil War level with disease and shit like cholera and all that. As soon as they do something stupid and drop a nuke and everything gets out of hand and the power goes down and hospitals aren't available, and we're already at war with China, so there's all the antibiotics that for some reason we let China make all that and everything else that we need to survive. We don't make anything over here anymore. So you won't have any antibiotics to fight infection. You won't have, that's the deal with going out and start learning about herbal medicine. And I'm not saying that you ought to depend on that and not go to doctors. I'm saying use that if that's all you got. And actually, I use it for myself. I'm not saying anything to anybody, so it's not medical advice here, you two. I'm just making that clear. I'm just saying what I'm going to do to protect myself is keep learning about herbal medicine as much as I can. Because you can go out and find something that might be able to save your life, but the pharmaceutical companies, they won't tell you about that. They want to make money. What's this? War with China is 2027. Yeah, I believe that. We might not even make it that far. It may start happening sooner than you think, because I think China's going to make a move on Taiwan, big time. They're going to go in there at any moment now, because we're invested in South America with Venezuela, and soon probably we'll probably send people into Colombia to a nation building or whatever. You take that over, and like I said, the domino theory. Same with Khomeini, that they're having revolts over in Iran. So they're going to be in there trying to get that oil in the Straits of Hormuz, get control of that. And you think Russia and China are going to stand there and watch us snap up all these big oil places? No, they want in on this. This is a game of Monopoly, The only losers is the little guys. Man, I keep forgetting. I got to turn the car back on here. There you go. Amir is scared over there. Yeah, probably. War with China. Why did he say that? That would fucking suck, living in a country where, they cut your head off if you believe slightly different than what they're telling you what to do. And your freedom is no freedom. They don't have freedom. Where, as far as, I'm not even 100% sure, because I don't live there. And I've often had conversations with Amir, and I don't know if everything we hear is exactly what it's like in another country anyway, because again, I don't trust anything anymore. The only thing I'm trusting is the Bible. It's the only thing in God, you know. Everything else to me has been so inundated with bullshit and lies. I think Amir works with the Ayatollah. No, he actually said one time. He hated the Khomeini. They wanted him out of there. There's a lot of them, and you know what? They're revolting. They're standing up to what do they call it? The Republican Guard, or the is that the name of it? I think it's the Iranian forces. Or I guess it's their police slash. What do you call it? Almost like their secret service, I think, but don't quote me on that. They're elite troops or something. Republican Guard, I think, but it might have another name. Yeah, religious police. Yeah. Well, that's the thing too. Is they're trying to bring that here. That guy from New York. What's his name? You know, the guy that just won. He's the mayor up there. He wants to bring in Sharia law. That doesn't work in our system. We have a constitution. You know, it's bullshit. And anybody that's going to allow that, they're a fucking traitor. But you know what? The Democrats are liable to fucking push that and allow that to go on. Hochul is, you know, all those people up there anyway were stealing. Matter of fact, that's about to be the next place, mark my words, where all this fraud's going to be discovered. They're already finding it now in Columbus, Ohio. The same thing that happened in I was going to call it Somalia, a little Somalia up in Minnesota. There's so much theft going on and so much corruption. It's not even funny, you know? So, yeah, I think Amir he actually said multiple times he wanted Israel come and bomb him just to get, you know, the dude out of there. That's like I just saw on the TV, Maduro, people were cheering and clapping and jumping up and down in the streets because the guy was probably a tyrant. And, you know, absolute power corrupts absolutely. And that's what's going on. And all these guys that are, and guess what? Trump's liable to turn more and more like that if he keeps getting more and more power. Because human beings fall prey to that. They get, I don't know what it is, but, you know, once they get too much power, I think it fucks them up. You know, that's my belief that, you know, he's going to keep doing what he's doing and the checks and balances are going to fall away. In other words, he'll just do whatever the fuck he wants. He'll no longer be a president. Might even be why he said this is the last presidential election, is because it's going to, our form of government's about to change. You know, that's what I'm wondering. I forgot what I was talking about. I got so far off the beaten path. I guess it was about Venezuela and shit going on. Cuba's going to be next. Colombia, probably most of that whole area in there. And meanwhile, I was saying this on one of my videos earlier that we are now basically doing what we did in the War of 1812, where we hired privateers to go in and capture ships during that war. I mean, we're doing it, but it's basically, it's okay. It's not really piracy. It's still piracy. You're still stealing somebody's ship right out of the water there, whether it's international water or whatever. But there's also the spoils of war. You know, if you lose, guess what? It has. However, then we're kind of a bully country that's just going to go and use brute force to take things when we need it. I don't think America should be like that. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but I see us going down a shitty path. What's that? I don't know whether you guys disagree with me or agree. That's how I'm feeling about it. I don't feel 100% on some of the decisions that are being made, just start invading countries. This was the same thing, the Bush agenda, when they were going to do, they went into Iraq, and then there was going to be like go over to Iran, and Libya got taken down. Muammar Gaddafi got killed in the streets over there, and they wanted to go into North Korea, and what was the other ones that were on? There was like 5 countries, and ironically, here we are again going after them now. So, yeah, they're all probably tyrants and communists and shit. But then we're kind of doing the same thing. If we're going to keep all their, the oil, what he said, well, we're going to take the oil right now and try to make a judicial system in there, make it fair. We can't do that in our own country. Trump said something very close to that. I don't have the words exactly, but go check that out. I mean, we can't keep our own fucking government in line. There's criminals all running in and out of it. The fucking stealing the tax money, the Somalians, and the other thing with the Nancy Pelosi's, what do you call that? Stock market cheating. But they're not allowed to do that, and yet they do it, So anyway, hang on 1 minute. I got to get something to drink. I said Nancy Pelosi. I said, I got to get something to drink. I'm going to pull out a martini. A bottle of vodka. So how did she even keep that job for as long as she did? She's been there. She's been in Washington, D.C. since Kennedy was alive. John Kennedy, the original JFK. She was a secretary for him. That's a fucking long time. Yeah. That's a long time. And that's what I'm saying earlier about we need, what the hell do you call that? Term limits. It's ridiculous. Why should we have people in there for 30 years, 40 years, 50 years? Get some fresh blood in there with new ideas. They keep recycling the same shit because they're the ideas that make that group of people rich. And they'll just keep hanging on to that and keep milking the cow till it runs dry. Well, it's time to fucking put a stop to that shit, Unbelievable. Yeah, I'm just ranting away. I'm sorry. I'll let you guys do some talking here. I didn't realize it's yapping and yapping and yapping. I ain't watching for what you guys are saying sometimes. By the way, have any of you guys seen Amir around in any other live streams? Someone told me they saw him, but I mean, Amir is a pretty common name for over there. So maybe it wasn't him. For a while there, he was basically trolling me. I guess what's this? That's what I thought Trump was going to do, drain the swamp. Yeah. What happened to that? He lost focus on that, didn't he? I think he's just feeding the alligators in the fucking swamp. Yeah, he's doing. Yeah. With food stamps for the alligators, but none for the people, or whatever when they need them. It's crazy. Yeah, the swamp got deeper and darker and stagnant water now. The swamp. Washington, D.C. needs a good cleansing. And the only thing that can cleanse that is probably a nuclear blast. I hate to say that, but it's like Sodom and Gomorrah. Actually, that's only half the problem. You go over to the West Coast, Hollywood is where a lot of our societal problems happen because they're the mouthpiece for the serpent here in America to fucking be, pushing all the garbage agendas through their movies and everything else so that the youth today are buying into all the bullshit and all the lies and anti-Christian sentiment. What's it say? Like a blocked bow in D.C. Exactly. Yeah, such corruption. It's unbelievable. And I wanted to get back on the other thing. I wonder if she's still here. Um, Little bit of pure gold. Are you still there? She was said a couple really good things. And I'm trying to remember, but I was rattling off too much stuff and bogged down the whole conversation. What's this? Yeah, like a blocked bow. That's what I was like. It's full of shit, I guess. Now, I don't know. Do you guys ever get fucking to the point where you want to say something or do? Oh, okay, you're still there. Cool. Yeah, I'm glad because what you said, I valued everything you said, but I was talking over you, not intentionally. I do that sometimes. I go on a tear and I just keep talking. And what's that? Folding the baby's laundry. There you go. There you go. And that was one of the things that I was saying was we walked away from God in this country so many times in so many ways. And we basically, you know how it says in the Bible not to have false idols. And people used to worship the golden calf and everything else. We're still doing that. People go out and buy a brand new car and, millions of dollars, thousands and thousands of dollars. That's their new God. They're out there waxing it, not giving a shit that their kid's going without something because they went and bought the fancy sports car. And, their priorities are fucked up, thanks to Hollywood and everything else. And no ability to teach things in school that are worthy of learning. They're teaching you dumb shit anymore about wokeness and 72 genders, but they won't teach you about helping your fellow man, about, being, what's it say? I didn't take it that way. Oh, I know. I know you didn't. I just, sometimes I think I stop talking for a minute. I'm like, shit, I just hope I didn't piss people off. When I go on a tear, I just go out there and start talking. All right, just so you know. What's that? iPhones and jewelry, exactly. Flashy houses and cars. Yeah, God said not to do what we're doing, and we're still doing it. We just don't see it because we don't have eyes to see. In other words, we're of the world still, part of the way at least. And there are people that see it. They're closer to God, or trying to get close to God. I still got a long walk to get near enough to really know what I'm talking about. However, I'm a lot farther along than a lot of people are because they're buying into everything. And we're being bombarded. Like I was saying, Hollywood, it's in commercials, it's in everything. That equals whatever you got physically, that equals what kind of a person you are. Well, that's bullshit. Because all that shit's going to melt when they fucking start throwing nukes around. It's going to be nothing, but your soul will be intact. And that's what you got to work on. What else we got here? You can worship God or mammon. Right, exactly. Exactly, dude. Mammon being money, or I guess, got real dark. Let me see if I can't see that good. I don't want my light on all the time because, I got my car on, so it's recharging. It's a hybrid anyway. But I actually did run the battery down on this one day. I went to fire it up. And what's this? Greed or money? Yeah. Yep. And we got that. We got plenty of greed in this country. When people won't come off a dollar or 50 cents to someone because they're homeless out on the street and they're asked you because they're hungry. Now, granted, there's people out there that are drug addicts and you're only feeding their addiction maybe, but a lot of times I'll give them that dollar. If I have a dollar or 50 cents or whatever I got, and people say, well, that's dumb. Let them go out and work. And yeah, I get all that. But would Jesus actually do that? Or would he try to help them where he could? And yeah, you got to teach them how to go out and catch their own fish, or teach a man to fish. Wait a minute. Give a man a fish, he eats for the day. Teach him how to fish, he eats for a lifetime. So, I don't know. What's this say? Oh, damn, I'm glad I looked up at that when it did that. I'm almost out of battery. Hang on, I got to charge this bad boy. Is that... Wait a minute, what's going on here? Okay. I think it's charging. Let me double check. Yeah. I got talking. I forgot to check that. I've been on for an hour and 5 minutes. I know I'm going to sit like this. I can still see with the light out here. Wait a minute. 1 second. My other phone's firing off notifications or something. I just want to see what that was. Nothing important. And I actually never saw the, what do you call it? Notification for this YouTube video. As a matter of fact, did any of you guys get a notification for this? I've only had the one thing up. I never used the other one so far. You can tune a piano, but you can't tune a fish. True. Yep. Did any of you see a notification at all? You know what you were saying up here about iPhones and jewelry and that and that. How about sneakers? People collect sneakers. Actually, they call them, what do they call them? They're not sneakers. When I was a kid, we called them sneakers. You know why they called them sneakers? Does anybody here know why shoes were called sneakers? The actual, running shoes or whatever you want to call them. They were called sneakers because the North Koreans, sorry, is that right? Vietnamese were wearing sneakers. They sneak right up at you at night. You would never hear them. And I truly believe I heard that somewhere. I don't remember where, but that's where that word came from, or that name for that shoe. Now they're called, what are they called? Running shoes, and I don't know what the fuck else they call them. Nope, I was going through my feed. Okay. Yeah, you see, and then I'm wondering why I'm struggling to get my live streams up again. My shorts are doing great, and the other stuff on the channel, and they just don't like us gathering together and talking about God and stuff, or whatever else we're talking about. Corrupt government. Evidently, that's what they don't like. Oh, by the way, they gave me a chance to get my old station, my old channel back. I got it the other night. I had put up a video. I don't know if you guys saw it. Was in the shorts. It was, what is, Rest in Peace, Josey Wales, or Legends and Tales of Josey Wales. And basically, right after I put that up, I got this message come up, and it was my icon. You know how the picture I have for my channel? Well, that was the same one from before, except for the other one was a little bit smaller, a little bit bigger, and it said, this channel has been taken down or something like that. I'm like, oh shit, I thought it was the new one. They were telling me about the old one, and they gave me a chance to, maybe write a letter to them or get it back. Because they did that for Richie from Boston, a few others. A lot of other people got their channels back because the shit they were talking about now is okay. Like the whole COVID thing and everything, you couldn't say shit about that. They were cutting you off mid-sentence, killing your live stream. And then it proved that half the shit that was being said anyway turned out to be the truth. And they were telling you it's misinformation. And that's how I lost my fucking channel. I believe they claimed misinformation. And I don't agree with some of this shit. What's this? Charlie was wearing sneakers in the walker three clicks back. Yeah, dude. Yep. That's I think that's where they got the name. I think my older brother, who was Vietnam era Marine, had told me that, sneakers. because they'd never hear you coming, you know? I don't even know if kids call them sneakers today. That's probably they. I know back when I was in school, when you got the cheap ones, when your mom went out and bought the cheap ones, they were called Bobos, and you didn't want those, man. Nikes and what was the big? I guess it was Nikes and Pony and what was the other? Adidas. That was all the money ones, I guess, back in the day. Now they got, I don't even know the names of them, but they're like $150 for a pair of sneakers or shoes, whatever the fuck you want to call them, which is ridiculous. But that's how fooled people are. They think that they're not worthy, or they think they're not good people unless they go and buy the same fucking thing so-and-so down the street has, or they're not worthy of anything if they don't have, $50,000 in the bank, or they're equating materialism with what kind of person they are. That's bullshit. All right. I think that you'd probably find out that people that don't have shit, that would come up and ask you for 50 cents or just so they can get something to eat or whatever. You won't get nothing for 50 cents, but some of those people are more honorable than some of the people that have money. Yeah, just saying. In a lot of cases, trying to think of a good example. But I know you guys have all seen what I'm talking about. For instance, the politicians are stealing millions of dollars. They got plenty of money, and it's not enough. The poor people are fucking helping their neighbors out. That's how fucked up this world is. It's all ass backwards. People are worshiping the wrong things and looking at the life the wrong way. Here comes something here. What's that? One nation under God. Breaking. Judge appointed in Maduro wants him released back to Venezuela. You hear that shit? They want to release Maduro back into Venezuela. That's weird. I mean, going in there and kidnapping somebody, yeah, but at the same time, I don't know how I feel about that 100%, because the people over there were cheering when they took them out of the power there. But again, I thought badly about the whole, we're just going to go in there and take their oil for a while. And to me, that's piracy. So I don't know where I stand on that, because the guy could have been killing people. We'll never know exactly how much of a tyrant he was. Because they'll shut that down. Yeah, but anyway, check that out. I want to go see what's up with that. Wait a minute. One nation under God. Wait a minute. Oh, wait a minute. I meant to say that too. You guys know that there was military generals or military officers in Washington, D.C. that got attacked the other day, or their homes got ransacked and lit on fire and they killed their pets or something. Now I just saw something else. I didn't get a chance, but go back and look at Patrick Humphrey's channel. I think it was yesterday. So there's shit going on that we're not hearing about. And that, I bet you a lot of that's fucking the Democrat, what do you call it? The traitors over there in the Democrat Party are probably doxing all the military people to whoever our enemies are out there, maybe Antifa, or whether it was actual foreign agents like Iranians or Iraqis. But they burnt their houses down and killed their pets. I don't know if they killed any of the people yet, but that's some fucked up shit. Wait a minute. Okay. Trying to see how much battery, if it's charging. It looks like it is. Anyway, I've been on here for an hour and 15 minutes. I think I'm going to shut it down. I'm getting kind of burnt out. My throat's hurting from talking. You guys have a great night. Thank you for coming by. And if you can, hit me with a thumbs up. I got 3 up there right now. And see, this is the thing, though. I'll shut this thing down, and there'll be maybe 10, 15, maybe 20 or 30 views. And yet I have 1,100 and some change in subscribers. So in other words, you're not sending nothing out hardly. Thanks, Dave or Doc. See you guys later. Have a good night. Catch you on the flip side.